Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It is Thursday, May the 11th, and I'm joined today by Mr. Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com and Sean Higgs of picksandparleys.net. Second day in a row, we're going to be talking the NBA. And yesterday, look, we were completely off on the Miami and New York game because I had the under. These two gentlemen like Miami. It happens. And then we scored big in the last game, as me and Sean both had Golden State minus the points, and Jesse with that. What do you call that again, Jesse? I
double result,
which entailed Golden State being up at the half and Golden State winning the game outright. No, all money line stuff. And if you put those two together, they gave you money line odds of 150. So Jesse easily cashed in with that as well. And so we bailed you out in the late game. How's that, folks?
Player prop cash too. My late player prop.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell, right?
Two. He took 2 threes the whole game.
He took 2 threes. It's hard to make 3 if you're only taking 2. So very astute observation there from Sean Higgs, as that makes him 3-2 now over the last few days in player props, and we'll take that. That's 60%. But anyway, Sean, while we have your voice in there, how's everything going?
All right, not bad. Had one base place. I ended up moving on the Texas Ranger under, so I cashed that. I'm happy about that. Although, listen, we talked about the Miami loser there. It happens. And hockey, I like the dogs yesterday, but what am I gonna do?
Yeah. You know, the NHL playoffs, if you've been betting road teams, you've been doing awfully well, right, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, my hockey hasn't been what's been carrying me with the sides, but I've got a sweet, I don't know if it's 11-1, I think it is now, 11-1 hockey totals run going.
Oh, is that all?
And it's going so well that it's got me betting team totals just so I can call it a total.
I saw that yesterday in Edmonton over 3.5. Nice call.
Well, to be honest, I put that out in the chat, Sean's show too, because let's face it, Edmonton was such a big favorite yesterday. By playing the team total over, you're saving yourself having to risk betting a $2 favorite, and even Sean could get on board with that.
Yes.
You know, Edmonton's one of those teams that's hard to figure out. I mean, they got a surplus of talent, obviously led by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but the bottom line is they look like they did last night. They look like they did in game 2. And then the other 2 games, it's like, where did that team go? And I understand in the playoffs, it's a lot of a seesaw type of thing. But, you know, this is a team that, if they're right, is going to be difficult to beat. But I do think, and I guess I'm looking for an answer from you guys, I think the big thing that's going to hold Edmonton back and prevent them from winning the Stanley Cup, I'm not crazy about their goaltending whatsoever. I'm not a big Skinner guy.
People have been saying that for a dozen years, Ross, about Edmonton.
Yeah. It's too bad. I mean, where's Grant Fuhr when you need him, right?
Grant Fuhr?
Yeah, anyway. That guy had a 3.5 something goals against average, but you know what? If
on the playoffs.
And the Edmonton Oilers back in those days, they were putting up a 7, 6, 7, 8 spot and with regularity, and they played that wide open style because they trusted Fuhr. You know, they knew if they could play that style, they would average over 4 goals a game. And Fuhr, you know, he continued, even though his goals against was bad, his save percentage was great. So I mean,
I'll tell you what, Ross, as a kid growing up in Canada, when we were playing street hockey, the goalie was always calling himself Grant Fuhr.
Yeah.
Pretending he's Grant Fuhr. So he was certainly a legend at the time in the late 80s and mid 90s.
There you go. So we're going to be talking 2 NBA games today. Sean might have to leave us early, folks. So if you see him make a quick exit, he's got some personal matters at the office there that he needs to address, and somebody's coming to fix something for him. So
if I think gutters installed. They do half gutters on houses. I don't understand how they do half gutters on new houses. It makes zero sense to me.
I mean, when it comes to look, I could add numbers in my head on then faster than people could do it on a computer. Most people, anyway. I don't want to put you guys in that category because I never tested you, but I can't nail two boards together. So yeah, I'm handy when I need something fixed. I hire somebody and I hand my money to them. So that's how handy I am. Anyway, we're going to be talking Boston and Philadelphia and Denver and Phoenix. And those are game 6s of the series right now. Philadelphia 3-2 lead over Boston, and the Denver Nuggets hold the 3-2 lead over Phoenix. So a couple elimination games coming up tonight, and this is where things get real interesting and difficult. But we've been doing this for a long time, so no complaints here. We're going to pick some winners for you on today's show. But before we get going, I just want to ask Jesse, is there any conspiracy theories we need to worry about today?
Well, since you mentioned it, Ross, the Knicks attempted 40 free throws to the Heat's 19 last night.
Will you stop with
I guess they get one more game out of the series. Hopefully Miami's able to get it done in game 6. But I was a little suspicious when I looked at the box score. Let me tell you.
Again, let's look at the style of play. Okay, you look at a team like Golden State, because we talked about this yesterday with the free throw disparity. And again, the announcers reiterated what I said last night. One team is very good at getting at the free throw line and doesn't allow a lot of free throws in the Lakers, and the polar opposite for Golden State. And the bottom line, if you think about it right now, Miami's a perimeter oriented team. I mean, they don't really have any low post presence, Jesse, and that lends itself to not having a lot of free throws in respect to what the NBA average is. So it doesn't shock me that that's the case. And you look at the Knicks, they're the polar opposite. And they haven't shot the ball well from 3 the whole series, So their game is a lot more. They'll go to their big people down low, Julius Randle, for example, and their game more is a slashing, driving type of game. So, I mean, I don't know. Let's put this to bed. But if you have any final thoughts, I don't want to just throw out the last word and say, "There you go, Jesse." But that's my
I mean, to be fair, I did just check the box score. I didn't watch the early game last night. I did watch the Lakers game, though, and I did hypothesize that we'd see a smaller discrepancy in the Lakers-Warriors game 5, and it was 15-15, and I was quite happy to see it.
Boy, oh boy. You're like my wife. You make the rules as you go along. If it doesn't fit, she'll make a rule, and if it doesn't favor her the next day, and it's inconvenient for her, then there's an amendment. So Jess made an amendment, and he says, look, it went even yesterday. So there we go. Anyway.
Well, I mean, isn't that what I said was going to happen, though? I said that.
Your genius is well beyond my intelligence. Anyway, all kidding aside, folks, these are two of the greatest handicappers in the business today. And I say that with the utmost confidence, as well as my buddy Doug Upstone, who, by the way, will be with us later today. And we're going to be doing some baseball for Friday. In any event, let's get right to the meat and potatoes. So we make sure that Sean can get his fill in. Sean, Boston and Philly right now. Boston a 2.5-point favorite on the road. And the total 212.5. I find this to be a little bit of a fishy line, considering the team down 3-2 is a road favorite. What do you think, John?
No, exactly. You hit the nail on the head there. Kind of like the Golden State yesterday. The line got up to an 8 from an opener of 5.5. And this one I say 2.5. It looks odd. Team down favored. I still think the Sixers are a better team. I do. I mean, okay, you got Tatum and Brown and Smart, fine. I mean, Al Horford plays better on the road in the series, apparently, and maybe that's thrown into this mix. But the Sixers, to me, I think are a really good team. I think they're a championship caliber team. You figured them and the Bucks and Celtics were all there to compete to win this year out of the East. And I'm going to get them at home as a dog. Listen, it's a money line play for me based on, and I'll throw a player prop out here. Yeah, we had Embiid and Maxey and Harris and these guys. But to me, James Harden is the key here. And I think he's going to be the difference maker tonight. I like his over 20.5 points. And I think that is a difference sign. Okay, Al Horford might come out, make from threes. He doesn't do it at home. He's been doing on the road in a series. That's fine. Just in the playoffs, he's been better, and that's the other guy they need to step up if you're Boston. Just like the Sixers need a big game out of either a Harris or a Maxey or a Harden, a 40 spot. Like, you need somebody else other than your guys you expect all time, right? You need that role guy, and not that Harden's a role guy, probably a Hall of Famer, but you need someone outside of the box to come in and push you over the top. I think we're getting that out of Harden because the guy is a Hall of Famer. He's an all-star. And if you're going to sleep on him because you're worried about something else going to happen, I think the Sixers are going to send you home tonight. They're a good enough team. I think Embiid's as healthy as he's going to be. I think they got a little better defense. In a game like this, maybe an under, but give me money line on the Sixers and the Harden over 20.5 points minus 120.
Okay, so money line on the Sixers at an underdog price. Do you have that available, Sean? I didn't look up the money.
It was a 115 was out there.
Yeah, well, it was, but I take that back because Boston's minus 135. So yes, plus 115 on Philadelphia. And you might be, again, folks, if they're gonna give you points, I would suggest if you like Philadelphia to take the points. Don't get greedy, but Sean has a strong feeling Philadelphia's going to win the game outright, and Jesse, it'd be hard to go against him with his analysis. But in any event, what do you see in this matchup?
Well, Sean is the plus dollar daddy, so he's always going to take those plus dollars. But
Here we go again with the man crush. All right, go ahead.
No, I'm going against him. I'm taking the Celtics, and I'm taking the Celtics on the money line minus the 135. And I don't have a lot of great reasons for you, Ross. It's more of a feeling. It's more of a, hey, we get a chance for a game 7. I want to see a game 7. I think there's some people out there that might have it on their script that they would like to see a game 7. But no, I mean, I looked at the Celtics last game. They had a huge edge in free throws. They just couldn't hit a shot. And I don't expect them to be that bad 2 games in a row. When a team loses a game like that, often they come back and they play a lot better in the next game. I mean, Sean's right though. I mean, if Embiid's going to play like the MVP, Philadelphia could certainly end it here tonight. But I'm not gonna bet my own money on this, but I'm gonna lean towards Celtics money line is the way I would go if you put the gun to my head.
Minus 135, Boston over Philadelphia for Jesse. It's an opinion play from him. He's not crazy about the game. Sean likes Philadelphia on the money line at plus 115. Of course,
I bet it.
Yeah, plus 2.5 too. I would recommend if you're going to take Philadelphia, but I agree with Jesse in this one. Look, if you want a script, I'll give it to you. But in my scripts don't contain conspiracies; they contain numbers. And the Boston Celtics, when you look at being in this situation right now, they're 4-0 straight up in ATS this year after a loss in their previous game when they're an away favorite. So again, conference away favorite. Let me rephrase that. Boston's 4-0 straight up in ATS this year as a conference away favorite following a straight up loss in their previous game, and their average margin of victory in those contests, 9.8. Not a big sample size. But again, when you stop and think about it, a team coming off a loss as an away favorite is not a situation that happens a lot compared to the rest. So that's why that sample size is down. And Boston didn't lose a lot of games this year, too. So also, if you go back to last year, to the start of last year, in that exact scenario I just described, not only are they 4-0 straight up in ATS this year in that situation, they're 10-1 straight up in ATS since last year in that situation. So, and here's another thing. Since the 2014 NBA playoffs, teams playing in a game 6 and they're down 3-2. If they came in as a favorite, are 3-1 straight up in ATS. So this situation doesn't come up a lot. We're talking back to 2014. We're talking 10 playoff years. And teams down 3-2 as an away favorite have gone 3-1 straight up in ATS. So again, stop and think about it, folks. You're not going to get a big sample size in this situation because you don't find many away favorites in a game 6 in the NBA playoffs, period. So again, it's usually when that happens, and it's happening here, as the lower seed is or the higher seed comes in as a favorite, and they're coming off an upset loss. To me, Boston minus 135 makes a lot of sense to me. With no disrespect to Sean whatsoever, I felt the same way yesterday, and I bit my tongue on the Knicks game, and I don't want to bring that up because I don't want to rub stuff in because that's not my style. But I feel similar this way. This just looks too good to be true. When you have a home underdog in a game 6, after coming off such a convincing win on the road. I'll give you guys a chance to rebut whatever I said.
It just feels like a zigzag theory. The Celtics can't be that bad again here in Philly. And neither of these teams have been consistent. So it's hard to trust either of them because they've both been so good and so bad. And you never know what you're going to get. But the fact that Philly was so good in their last game and Boston was so bad, it gives me that. I got to go with the zigzag here.
Understood. Sean?
Second round home teams NBA playoffs this year, 15-5 straight up. I'll take a shot with a dog here.
Okay, very good. I mean, that makes sense too. But any event, we'll see. It promises to be. I will say this. I truly believe that this will be a more competitive game than when we saw in Game 5 in Boston, because Philly was just outstanding in that game. And all right, let's move on to the next game. But I will one more thing. Let me add this in. You heard it here first. Here's my prediction. Whoever wins this Boston-Philly series will win the NBA title, in my opinion. All right. Denver and Phoenix. This is talk about a homer series, guys. Denver leads 3-2. The home teams have won all 5 games. The home teams have covered all 5 games, if I'm not mistaken. But Jesse, we'll start with you. Denver Phoenix right now, a 3-point home favorite and a total of 226.
Well, I said the last game was just a lead and I wasn't going to bet my own money on it. This one I feel a lot stronger about. And I'm expecting some regression to the mean here because you said it was a homer series, Ross, but the difference being I think Denver is the better team. I think hands down. And I think Phoenix has been relying too heavily on 2 players, and namely Devin Booker. And what he did in games 3 and 4, I don't think is repeatable. I mean, he scored 82 points on 79% shooting in those games. And it wasn't like they were winning those games by 20, 30 points. Those were close games. And if Booker doesn't score those 82 points, if Booker scores 60, they don't win those games. And Booker finally hit regression, scored 28 points on 46% shooting, 42% shooting in Game 5, in Denver in Game 5. And, you look at his career averages. He averages 23.9 points per game on 46% shooting in his career. This season, 28 points per game, 49% shooting. If he's anywhere in that neighborhood, as opposed to 79% and 40 points per game, if that's what you need from Booker to win games, you're going to be in trouble eventually. And then you got the injury to DeAndre Ayton, who is widely considered to be the softest player in the league, by the way. So expecting him to play hard, play hurt, carry the team down. I think the Suns are on the verge of disaster, and I'm gonna go with Denver plus the points here.
All right, so Denver plus the 3 over Phoenix in Game 6 of that series. Yeah, I got a big play in this game tonight, so I can't show my hand too much. So I'm going to turn to Sean here and see what he likes.
So Jesse's saying the sun is setting in this. Is that where we're going with there? Little. Anyway, I gotta agree. I mean, 20 and 25 from the floor at home, 80%, 14 of 18. Like, how I get home cooking. I understand. I just mentioned that the 15 and 5 in the second round. How about 41 and 22 straight up in just in the playoffs all around with home teams? I get you're home and you're familiar with the rim and the crowd. You can't. I mean, this was the KD show and Booker already, and you're barely hanging on with these guys scoring 70 points a game, the 2 of them. Now, I got to take the team is better on the other side of the court. I'm getting points. I got more than 2 guys scoring. It's a no-brainer for me. I got to take Denver. I can't
Yeah.
rely on two guys to score. Jesse, I mean, I can't. I'll piggyback Jesse what he said about everything about Booker. 100% cannot go on.
Yeah.
Unless he's an AI robot. There's a conspiracy. He's
No,
not real. He's an
yeah,
AI.
no,
He's an AI.
exactly.
It's iRobot all those over.
The bottom line is the guy played unhuman like in those two games and was just terrific. And you know what? Kudos to him, because this isn't something that just came out of the blue. We've seen this from Devin Booker before. He's capable of putting up monster numbers. But Jesse's point is that the kind of performances he put up in game 3 and 4 with those ungodly statistics are very highly improbable to continue to happen. And when you're talking about a team like Phoenix, that we've all said at one time or another, even Doug, when we've discussed the NBA playoffs, is we've all come to the conclusion that Phoenix is detriment right now, and they're probably what's going to stop them from making a deep run is their lack of quality depth. I tell you, guys, I'm not crazy about Denver's lack of quality depth either. I mean, these are two star-studded teams when it comes to star power. I mean, you're looking at Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and then you're looking at the Joker and Jamal Murray. You know, but beyond that, these teams don't have the supporting cast that Philly has, the Boston has, the Lakers have, or Golden State has. These to me are the two teams that are probably lack the most quality depth that are left in the playoffs right now. That's my opinion. But having said that, I'm going to make a real quick on the prediction here. Look, Denver has scored 112 points or more in 7 of their last 9 games, all of those coming into the postseason. Phoenix has allowed 114 points or more in 7 of 10 playoff games. I'm going to say Denver goes over their team total of 111.5 here. And if these gentlemen are right on Denver being plus the 3, I like my chances even more of them going over the total of 111.5. So there you have it. Denver over 111.5 is a team total. Jesse and Sean both like the Denver Nuggets plus the 3. And you have all our picks now for the playoff games taking place tonight, which is Thursday, May the 11th. Again, folks, if you have not subscribed to our channel, it's the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. Take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. No strings attached, no hidden agenda. You're just privy to great information here from true professional sports handicappers that have been doing it for quite a while. And if you've been with us over the last 8 weeks or so, we're somewhere around 59% win percentage with all our picks on this channel. And these gentlemen with me today are certainly an integral part of that. So, Sean, tell the folks a little bit about what you may have coming up, and if you're hot in any particular area right now we should know about.
Midday Money, 7 days a week. You can listen to that live on your favorite podcast channel or check it out on YouTube, Twitter, Mr. Sean Higgs. And what I got going? Well, I gave you some NBA already. I'll have some baseball. Today, again, another, 6 games. I'm not racing out there. I mean, I kind of like the Rangers run line. Other than that, you don't have to bet just because there's 6 games, folks. Hot streaks. NBA is a 20-6 run. 20 and 6, excuse me. I have it here. I wrote it down somewhere. 20-8 NBA. Baseball, again, winner yesterday, we are 149 and 150 plus 721 on the season. So hot streaks for me in baseball are weird because I bet a lot and a lot of splits with the run lines and dogs, but we're making money. That's all that matters there.
Yeah, so there you go. 149 and 150. That's the difference between betting money lines and point spread, folks. There's a lot of guys who bet money lines that could approach 60%, and they're somewhere around even. Sean is a shade below 50%, and he's up 7 units for the year. Why? Because he bets a lot of underdogs, and when he does go with the favorites, they're short favorites. So that's the style of handicapper he is. I don't bet quite as many as underdogs, but I do keep my, as you well know, guys, I keep my parameter of how high I go with the favorites to a minimum, unlike the gentleman in the top left-hand corner who just says, I don't care what the damn line is. I just keep putting down winners, so you could say whatever you want about betting parameters, Jesse.
I'm a bit of a cowboy that way, but I mean, I do have limits, and obviously I have to be careful because you wouldn't be at or near the top of the leaderboards if you
Right.
weren't careful about what you're doing. My NBA took a hit last night. Now 23-11. That's just 68%, which is pretty mediocre for a guy like me in the playoffs. But I mentioned that 11-1 NHL totals run. I believe it's also a 9-1 NHL top play run tested in one of tonight's hockey games. Different plays because different sites have different lines. But as you guys could tell, that it's kind of a correlating play. You could have a team to win the game or a team on the over on their team total. It's very similar. It correlates. It's not exactly the same, but that's what I got going on at jesseshul.com. You want to follow me on Twitter at Jesse Shul and on YouTube at Jesse Shul Picks for the latest conspiracy theories on free throws, game scripts, all that good stuff.
There you go. So Jesse, look, I joke about Jesse and I tease Jesse sometime, but at the end of the day, if I didn't think he was a great handicapper, he wouldn't be on this show, as well as the guy in the bottom there, Mr. Higgs.
Jesse's proofs in the pudding. He could lay a 170. The guy's at 67% most of the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's right there for people to see. It's not like it's he's hovering at the
right
plus 109 for the season on his picks.
Right, exactly. That was my point.
Percentage.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the difference between what I described and some guys hitting 60% and being around even, and Jesse is, Jesse's not hovering around even with money and just flaunting. I'm 60% in Major League Baseball this season. He's over 60% and he's making good money. That's the difference. He's hitting at a high percentage, but at the same time, he's winning a majority of the time and making money. That's the end game here. So in any event, you could find me at rbwins.com. Nice 10-star top play, easy winner last night in the NBA on the Golden State Warriors. That makes me 30-15 with my last 45 NBA 10-star top plays. That's good for 67%. And folks, since the NBA postseason began, and of course, I didn't write this down, but I am 69% on my point spread and
I got a jet at the door.
Picks. All right. So Sean is going to leave, and Sean, take care. Have a great weekend. And before we leave, I usually do all the promos, but I'm going to let Jesse do this one. I want you to tell the folks what to do with that like button you see, Jesse.
Well, I always like to remind everybody to press that like button. And when I say that, Ross, it gets people's attention. I noticed they don't forget. On my channel, if I got 100 views, I got a high percentage of guys clicking that like button, let me tell you.
Listen, if I was benching 225 30 times like you can, and I was as big as you were, and I screamed at the folks to smash that like button, I would hit it 3 times. Anyway, that's me. Don't forget to give us a like, folks. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, take a second to do so and hit that notification bell in your YouTube settings, and you will be notified immediately upon any of our sports betting videos, specifically the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast going up on our channel. Until the next time, for Jesse Shul and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks. Oops.